Hey guys, welcome back. Halo Infinite, believe it or not, has been out for almost 3 months now, so I thought it'd be kinda cool to sort of take stock and talk about the state of the game as it stands right now, the past and the future. Quick reminder, if you want to pick up any Game Pass codes, Xbox Store credit, or even Halo Infinite's campaign, then you can do so by going to HiddenXperiaBusiness and buying through there. All the codes are officially licensed and provided by Xbox, and if you use code HiddenXperia at checkout, you get 10% off your order from now until February 7th. And you'll be supporting your boy whilst picking up some pretty good stuff. Starting off, let's talk about the campaign. Now, it's almost 2 months now since the campaign released, which is kinda crazy to me. And I think to say that it was received well might be the understatement of the century. It definitely wasn't perfect, but most people seem to be on the same page that it was not only a fantastic experience, but it was also exactly what the franchise needed after Halo 5. It also seems to have pretty good replay value as well. I've not seen anybody really saying they're getting bored of playing the campaign yet, which for me happened rather fast with Halo 5. I'm still enjoying playing this campaign, and also, in the month and a half since the game came out, no major narrative issues have popped up. There's been like no glaring potholes or anything that have surfaced. It just seems to be a great overall experience that a lot of people enjoyed. The honeymoon phase is absolutely over now because people are starting to critique it in small amounts, but again, nothing major. People still seem to overall really enjoy it and also seem not only optimistic for the future, but actually excited for the prospect of what comes next with campaign DLC and maybe even spin-offs as well. Now obviously, like I said, the campaign wasn't received like entirely perfectly. People did have issues, myself included, with like the grapple, for example, and how it affects traversal in the open world, the really repetitive linear levels, and also the story lacking a little bit compared to say Halo 2 or Halo 4, but I think overall sentiment seems to still be really positive for the campaign, which is exactly what we needed after Halo 5. Something else that has performed exceptionally is Halo Infinite HCS. We had the first Halo Infinite HCS event in December in Raleigh, and to say that once again it was a success might be the understatement of the century. The kickoff event was absolutely incredible. Not only were the games incredible to watch and did it prove that Infinite is a fantastic competitive title, but also the viewership was just astronomical as well. I say that as somebody who's been watching competitive Halo for over 10 years now, like 12 years probably. I watched it when it was like near its peak towards the end of Halo 3 and start of Reach, when it died in Reach and Halo 4, and when it started to rise again, and the numbers that we saw at that event honestly like made me just so happy that we were finally back to that point. Just to put it into perspective a little bit, Halo 5's HCS peaked at around 100,000 viewers during, I think, the 2018 World Finals. So this is the World Championship World Finals, like the biggest game of God knows how many years, and it peaked at 100k viewers, but there's a caveat. That was only because Ninja hosted the stream when Ninja was at the height of his popularity, having only just played Fortnite with Drake like 2 weeks ago. Most of those viewers came from Ninja, he propped us up, and that got us to 100k viewers, whereas Halo Infinite's first event peaked at like 185k on just one stream, naturally and organically. There were also other big streamers who were doing watch parties that were really big as well, and overall, the stream peaked at around 260,000 concurrent viewers. Over 250,000 people were watching competitive Halo, which is absolutely, as I said, astronomical. Such a fantastic start to Halo Infinite. And further, even the online events that I don't even think had a prize pool beforehand also did really well. Their streams for an online event had like 60,000 viewers, which is just madness. Really great start. It wasn't perfect. The games crashed quite a bit on stage, which was a little bit embarrassing, but other than that, fantastic start. And on the topic of Infinite successes, I think at this point it's kind of fair to say that Halo Infinite absolutely dominated its two closest competitors in that fall release window, Battlefield and Call of Duty Vanguard.
Chat, I'm going to be straight with you here. Just don't buy the game yet.
Now, this is both a positive and a negative. I mean, it's a positive because we all love to see Halo winning, right? Who doesn't love to see that? But at the same time, it's a negative because a game that launched as devoid of content and in many areas as utterly broken as Halo Infinite somehow ended up being the king of its launch window. I think this just kind of goes to show how bad of a state the gaming industry is in, like, as a whole. but like I said, us Halo fans really will just take a dub where we can get it. However, despite all of its successes, it's fair to say that Infinite has kind of fallen short in many ways. I think all specifics aside, really, people's biggest disappointment with Halo Infinite is that with all the learnings from Halo 5's abysmal launch and the 6 years that 343 had to build upon those failures and come out with a game that acted upon them, it just seems like not much was learned. The game launched missing key modes like Infection. It launched with a total lack of playlist variety. It launched with an egregious monetization system and no progression system. It launched either totally lacking social and community features, or with the features there but completely broken, like theatre and customs. All these things just in an abysmal state, somehow even worse than Halo 5's launch. And what's worse is we have no idea when many of these features are either going to be added or fixed. We have no content roadmap or even like a slight hint at when things like Infection, for example, are going to be coming out. Halo 5 got its content roadmap in February after it came out, so fingers crossed we get one soon. I know 343 said they are working on one, so hopefully we get that soon so we can kind of just gauge how long we are going to be waiting for modes that, I mean, realistically should have been there on day one. But I'm not just going to sit here and talk about missing modes and missing content because I've already made videos about that, I've already spoken about that, everyone is pretty much on the same page with what needs to be added, so I don't want to waste time here and talk about stuff that everyone has already gone over. But something that kind of plays off of that is Halo Infinite's population. Now, we don't know for sure how many people are, or I guess aren't playing this game right now. We don't know what the figures are specifically. However, the one that people keep quoting and keep posting about are the Steam charts figures for Infinite's population. This is accurate information for the amount of people that are playing on Steam, and as you can see, the numbers don't look fantastic. That figure right there is a 95% drawdown from the high point of like November 16th, the day after launch, of like 200 and something thousand players. 95% drawdown is not great. Granted, this picture was taken at the bottom of like the peaks and the troughs. It was taken midday in the UK, so the figures are always going to be lower. They were always going to go higher from there, but either way, it's clear that at least on Steam, the game has lost quite a few players. Now, I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this or give you a theory as to how this is actually a really good thing, because I'm going to be honest, it's not. This is not a healthy metric for the game. This is not what any of us wanted to see, like, what, 3 months after launch? It's not great. However, I am going to offer a counter sentiment. So you got to remember that Steam is just 1/3 of the platforms that you can play this game on. You've also got the Xbox, right, which has undoubtedly tons and tons of people playing on it. And then there's also the Windows Store. Now, I hear what you're saying. Who the hell is playing on the Windows Store, right? Well, if you use Game Pass on PC, you have to play the game on the Windows Store. Game Pass doesn't work with Steam, at least as far as I'm aware. So if you're playing with Game Pass on PC, you're doing it through the Windows Store. And given how big Game Pass is, I mean, for the love of God, Xbox just casually dropped $70 billion buying Activision Blizzard, and I imagine a lot of that was to drive people towards Game Pass subs, right? Game Pass is clearly the center of Xbox's entire business model now. The entire business model, every plan that they do revolves around Game Pass. So I imagine that there are a lot of people who are playing Halo Infinite on the Windows Store thanks to it. Now, there's no way to measure precisely how many people are playing on Xbox or the Windows Store or whatever. However, Microsoft do have this section on the Xbox website called the Xbox Most Played Games list. Now, we have no idea what metrics they measure to determine which game is more popular, which game is the most or least popular, but on the plus side, Halo Infinite has been ranking pretty damn high in this list since launch. It consistently ranks higher than Siege, Apex, Vanguard, Rocket League, and hell, even Minecraft, right? Like I said, we don't know how they measure this, we don't know if it's like daily active users or monthly active users or whatever, but either way, it's a good sign. It means the population to a degree is healthy. I mean, if it's doing better than games like Apex and Minecraft, irrespective of how they measure the population, that alone is a good thing if you ask me. Right, so let's look towards the future, because recently 343 have been updating the game and also talking about some future updates to come that will improve the experience. It's not the be-all end-all by any means, but it's something. Firstly, let's talk about Big Team Battle, because if you didn't know, Big Team Battle in Infinite is in a pretty rough state right now, and it has been, I think, since the campaign launched. The update that set the campaign to go live just completely broke BTB, and it's still broken. 343 thought they had a fix for it, they released a fix, and it didn't work. I mean, we've even seen some people saying that it made the issue worse. So 343 are going back to the drawing board, trying to fix that again now. By the time I release this video, fingers crossed the update will be out, but I don't know. Since the game came out, we've also had 2 events. Now, these things have been kind of up and down, right? So first off, we had Tenrai, which was a little bit contentious to say the least. There were 30 tiers in the Tenrai Battle Pass that you could only do 7 of per week, and most of the tiers were padded out with filler content like challenge swaps and XP boosts, when all the actual good stuff that they actually know that people would want to get was locked behind the store. But then, after many complaints, they actually improved the Battle Pass, making it much better, adding much more content, getting rid of filler, and making it so you could go up 10 tiers per week over 7. So it definitely improved. Still not perfect because there's stuff that should be in there that's stuck in the store. They're making people pay for the color red and blue in the store, which is not great, but it's an improvement. Then we had the Cyber Showdown event last week, which was actually surprisingly really good. The Battle Pass is only 10 tiers long, it's really short. For some reason, this is a 2-week event, and the Battle Pass is shorter than Tenrai. Not sure how that works. I finished the Battle Pass on the first night, but it is what it is. I grinded really hard. It brought with it the new mode Attrition, which is really fun. I'm a big fan of one life game modes. I love search and destroy in Call of Duty. I love Counter-Strike, so seeing a mode like this back in Infinite, I also love Breakout as well. So yeah, I really like Attrition. Everyone seems to really be loving it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it actually stays in the playlist rotation after the event ends, unlike Fiesta with Tenrai, because this game has like no variation right now. We'll take literally anything we can get, and Attrition is fantastic, so fingers crossed it stays. But arguably, some of the biggest changes that have come to Infinite since the game came out have been to the item shop. Now, we all knew this thing was going to be contentious, right? 343 knew it was going to be contentious. In a franchise like Halo that has a long-running and fan-beloved track record of armor customization, progression, and armor unlocks, having an item shop that like hard paywalls a lot of stuff like that in traditional games would have been unlockable via gameplay was never gonna go down well. So what 343 have done recently, in response to a lot of people saying the prices are too high, is they've cut the prices, in some cases by 50%, which is rather substantial, which is very appreciated, but I'm gonna be honest, right? I still think things in this game are radically overpriced. Maybe it's just me, but I will never be able to get on board with selling color combinations that were free in every single Halo game that came before for $2, $3, $4, $5, sometimes even $10. I can't ever get on board with that. The coating system is terrible. It's not what it should have been. Coating should have been textures or patterns or cool decals in your armor that added on top of your free color customization, but I digress. They've also said that they aren't done updating the store yet. To quote Jerry Hook, the shop experience is going to vary week to week, and their focus is going to be on providing better value for bundles, as well as putting individual items outside of bundles, which is something that will begin in the next few days, possibly before this video releases. So by the time you're watching this, that may have already happened, which is definitely a great start. Locking like random items in $20 or I guess now $10 bundles was absurd. Still not a fan of the overall system by any means though. Jerry also confirmed that in the Season 2 Battle Pass, credits will actually be earnable as tier rewards, which means there are finally going to be ways to unlock store items via just gameplay alone. Now again, this is a fantastic thing to hear, this is definitely a step in the right direction, but don't rest easy yet, because we don't know how much we'll be able to earn via doing the Battle Pass. I think ideally, users who don't buy the Battle Pass should be able to buy the next Season 1 by completing the free Battle Pass and getting enough credits for it, just like in like Warzone and Fortnite and everything. If you complete the free Battle Pass, you get given enough credits by the end of it to buy the Battle Pass. I think that should be the minimum for free users. And then on top of that, I hope that users who do actually buy the Battle Pass are rewarded with more credits as well. Ultimately though, regardless of my personal opinions on them, the changes to monetization in this game so far are definitely very positive. They are absolutely a step in the right direction, and like 343 said, they are the start of many changes to come, so hopefully it just continues to improve over time. Changes like these are why constructive criticism is so important, emphasis on the constructive. Constructive criticism and constructive praise go a long way to helping dev studios improve things and shape experiences more around what the players want. And as you can see here, people's constructive criticism about the store has led to a better experience for everyone, so always a good thing. Right then, so I think to round this video out, the best thing to do would be to briefly discuss what I think 343 need to do next with Halo Infinite. So, for me, priority number one needs to be getting a content roadmap out ASAP. We need to know when major features like a file share system or infection are going to be added to the game, because right now we're completely in the dark. We also really badly need fixes for custom games, theater, and BTB, along with the desync in the game, which they have addressed and are fixing, melees, and hit detection, because all of those things are completely and utterly broken. I mean, it goes without saying, I think everyone who's played Infinite knows those things are a problem right now and badly need some fixes. Obviously as well, adding new content, adding classic modes, unlocking coatings from armor cores and armors in general, adding a progression system and more ways to earn credits in-game are all needed as well, but as of right now, a content roadmap and fixing the glaring broken problems of the game are priority number one, if you ask me. I mean, content is one thing, but geez man, customs is beyond broken, theater is beyond broken, desync, the melee lag, the hit detection, all of it really badly needs fixing. So, overall, Infinite's launch window has been, rocky, to say the least. There's definitely been some good, there's been some not so good, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make this game better right now. Like many have already said, I am of the firm belief that in maybe 2 or 3 years, this game will be absolutely incredible, both in the quality and the content there, but it's going to be such a long wait to get to that point. Hitting that kind of Halo Reach quota of content is probably going to take a while, so yeah, I think you better get a cup of tea and get waiting. So, with that said, let's round this video out. I'm not gonna lie, it felt a little bit weird recording a video like this, considering I've not done it in like a month at this point almost, so hopefully I've not lost my touch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I want to give a massive thank you to Daftandirekt for becoming a new Primordial over on Patreon, and to Virgil4837 for becoming a new iconic one over there as well. And of course, to all of my usual patrons for the continued support over there. Thank you all so much, and thank you very much for the new pledges. I really appreciate that. And thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you all in the next one.